Right now, somewhere on a Royal Caribbean ship, a couple is standing at a bar ordering their third cocktail of the day and feeling great about it because they bought the drink package. What they don't know is that at 3 drinks a day, they're losing money, not because the drinks are bad, because the math was never explained to them before they handed over $84 per person per day and called it a deal. That's the game, and the reason it works so well is that cruise lines have made the decision feel simple. One number, unlimited drinks, easy choice. When the actual calculation involves at least 7 variables that can flip the answer completely depending on who you are, how you drink, and which ship you're on. Here's every one of them. Start with the number everyone quotes but almost nobody checks for their specific ship. On Royal Caribbean, the Deluxe Beverage package carries a fleet median of $72 per day, but that's before the 18% gratuity that gets added automatically. Once gratuity is included, you're looking at around $85 per day per person. On the Wonder of the Seas, tracked pricing in 2026 pushes that to $90 or more per day before gratuity. On older ships like the Grandeur, it can drop to $55. Same package name. Very different prices depending on which ship you're sailing. At the fleet median of $72 per day, the break-even point on Royal Caribbean's Deluxe Beverage package sits at roughly 6 cocktails per day, based on an average drink price of $12. On the Wonder, where the package price climbs to around $90 per day, you'd need 7 to 8 drinks every single day of the sailing just to reach zero. Most cruisers drink 3 to 4 alcoholic beverages per day. At that pace, paying as you go costs less on every ship in the fleet. Every one. That's not an opinion. It's what the tracked pricing data shows. Now here's the catch that changes everything for couples. Carnival requires every guest 21 and over in the same cabin to buy the Cheers package. This prevents one person from buying it and sharing drinks. Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and Celebrity operate the same way. If you drink moderately and your partner barely drinks at all, wine at dinner, maybe a cocktail by the pool, you're buying a package for someone who will never break even on it. Cheers costs about $82 to $84 per person per day when bought before the cruise, and $88 to $90 per day if you wait and buy it on board, with the 20% service charge included. Run that math for a couple on a 7-night sailing. Pre-cruise price, 2 people. Roughly $1,176 at the low end. One of them would need to drink 6 cocktails a day every day of the cruise just to cover their share. The other one needs to match that. Most couples don't drink that way on vacation, and the ones who do usually know it already before they read this. Before we continue, I need to tell you something. I've put together a verified guide that breaks down exactly where the 6 major cruise lines hide their fees, gratuities, drink packages, Wi-Fi, and shore excursions, with real 2026 numbers, not guesses. Scan the QR code or tap the link below to get your copy and stop overpaying on your next cruise. The package isn't designed for average drinkers. It's priced and structured for heavy drinkers who would otherwise spend more than the package costs. Everyone else is subsidizing that math. Here's what almost nobody factors in, and it genuinely changes the break-even calculation. Most cruise drink packages cover specialty coffee, smoothies, bottled water, and fresh juice on top of alcohol. If you factor in roughly $25 per day in non-alcoholic value, the real break-even point drops to 4 to 5 cocktails per day, not the 7 or 8 that the straight alcohol math suggests. That's a meaningful difference. A cruiser who has 2 cocktails, a specialty coffee at breakfast, a smoothie by the pool, and bottled water throughout the day might actually reach break-even without ever feeling like they're drinking heavily. The people who make the package work aren't the ones ordering 8 cocktails. They're the ones who use every category it covers, from the first espresso of the morning to the last glass of wine at dinner, and treat the package as a meal replacement for everything that comes out of a glass. Royal Caribbean's Deluxe Beverage package includes specialty coffee, fresh juices, bottled water, and non-alcoholic options, in addition to unlimited alcoholic drinks up to a $14 per drink value limit. As of March 2026, the complimentary Coca-Cola Freestyle Cup is no longer included, a quiet change that reduced the value for lighter drinkers without a single announcement. Norwegian has done something that deserves its own conversation. Norwegian's Premium Plus Beverage package now costs $138 per person per day, before gratuity. With the 20% gratuity charge included, the effective cost reaches $165.60 per person per day, or $1,159.20 per person for a typical 7-night cruise. That is the highest drinks package price in the mainstream cruise industry by a significant margin. For context, most other major cruise lines sell their top-tier drinks packages for $60 to $90 per person per day before gratuity. Norwegian's premium option costs nearly nearly double the industry average. There is a version of Norwegian's drink package that works. If you book through Norwegian's free at sea promotion, the open bar comes at around $29 per day through the bundle, making it the best value in the industry by a significant margin. The standalone price is not competitive. The promotional price is exceptional. Those are two completely different products with the same label, and Norwegian counts on most people not knowing which one they bought. Carnival made a change in April 2026 that affected every passenger who hadn't been paying attention. Carnival raised beverage package prices and the daily service charge in April 2026. The Cheers package moved to $82 to $84 per person per day pre-cruise, and $88 to $90 on board. The 20% gratuity charge, one of the highest in the industry, applies on top of that. Carnival's Cheers package has the highest per-drink price cap at $20, meaning more premium spirits are included without upcharges compared to Royal Caribbean's $14 cap. For passengers who drink higher-end spirits, that distinction actually matters, because on Royal Caribbean, any drink above $14 triggers an upcharge, and premium cocktails regularly land between $14 and $18. So if you're a whiskey drinker who orders top shelf, Carnival's package covers more of what you'd actually drink. If you're ordering standard cocktails and beer, Royal Caribbean's lower package price makes more sense at the same consumption level. These are not identical products. They're priced similarly but structured differently. And the right choice depends on what you actually order at a bar. A question cruise lines never ask you when you're clicking Add to Cart on their website. There's one more thing the booking page never shows you: the sale that isn't actually a sale. Tracking data across 30 Royal Caribbean ships shows that 29 out of 30 carry a sale flag at any given time, with discounts of 31 to 43% off the listed price. The sale is the default price, not a limited time event. Prices shift through dynamic pricing rather than flash promotions. The listed retail price almost nobody pays has become the anchor that makes the discounted price feel like a good deal. It's a pricing mechanism borrowed from retail. Mark up the sticker, discount back to where you always intended to sell it, and let the percentage savings do the emotional work. The practical takeaway: buy the package before you sail, not on the ship. Pre-cruise pricing is typically 10 to 20% cheaper than buying on board. Set a calendar alert for 30 to 90 days before you're sailing, when promotional pricing tends to be deepest, and buy then, not the week before departure when prices tend to creep back up. So when does the package actually make sense? A drink package is worth it if you consistently consume 5 to 6 or more drinks per day, including specialty coffee and non-alcoholic beverages. Your itinerary has more sea days than port days, and both adults in your cabin are regular drinkers. Sea days are the key variable most people forget. A 7-night Caribbean itinerary with 5 port days and 2 sea days looks very different from a transatlantic crossing with 6 sea days in a row. When you're ashore exploring, you're not at the ship's bar. When you're at sea with nothing on the schedule except the pool deck and the sunset, the drinks add up quickly. The passengers who consistently come out ahead on the drink package are the ones who do this calculation before they click buy, not after they're already at the bar on day 3 wondering if they should have done the math. None of this means drink packages are a scam. They're not. They're a product designed for a specific type of cruiser, and someone who drinks frequently, uses the non-alcoholic perks, has a partner who drinks at a similar pace, and sails on an itinerary heavy with sea days. For that person, the package is genuinely good value and genuinely simplifies the trip. No bill at the end of the night, no mental arithmetic at the bar, just order what you want and move on. For everyone else, and the data suggests that's most people on most ships, the honest answer is that paying per drink will cost you less, not because the package is overpriced for what it includes, because the break-even point assumes a drinking pace that most people don't actually maintain over 7 consecutive days. The cruise line already knows which category you're in, they've done the math. The question is whether you do it first.